of the same old radio sound? Then you need vibrant radio. Spice up your life. Spice FM, 98.8 FM.
Good afternoon, listeners. We've got two fantastic guests for you today who will introduce themselves. This is a young man who I met about, 15 years ago?
Oh, it's probably longer than that.
Longer than that?
Yeah.
How old are you? 16 or what?
I'm actually 38.
38. Yes. But when I first met you, you were a teenager.
I think I was about 10.
10.
When we first
And
met.
you came to the Asian Artists Network.
That's right. Yeah.
And you used to sing Carnatic classical music.
Yes.
And your mum, who's still around, I believe,
yes,
used to give you warm water with Zira in it.
That's
to
right.
make your voice feel good.
That is indeed
God, I must
right.
be getting on in life. So we have Matan, Ganeshan, and who have you brought in?
Yes, my business partner and dear friend, actually, Sudarshan, is here with me today.
What's your full name, Sudarshan?
My name is Sudarshan Murugavel.
Sudarshan Murugavan.
Yeah, Murugavel.
Murugavan is what? Krishna Bhagavan in the south.
It's Murugavel is the
Murugu.
Murugavel. It's the Sharavan.
Uh-huh.
In the North India.
Shravan. Okay.
Yeah.
Shravan Kumar.
Sharavan, yeah. Sharavan.
The fellow who carry his parents on his shoulder. I think so the story goes.
Like Kartikeya.
Kartikeya.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Kartikeya.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's the older brother of Ganesh?
Younger brother of Ganesh.
Younger brother of Ganesh. The handsome one, the good singer one.
Handsome guy.
He sings
rides on a
well.
peacock. Yeah.
And Ganesh was complaining to Parvati, why do I look ugly and nobody sings? She said, everybody will copy you in their bathrooms. There'll be lots of bathroom singers. There'll be very few Kartikeyas. Okay, so tell us about yourself. I mean, you used to be a nice little voice singing. What are you doing here?
Well, I guess singing has always been a big part of my life.
Indeed.
But after at university, I did microelectronics and software engineering. Then I went to UCL in London and did a business degree with telecoms.
So how many changes have you made from singing to computers?
Well, singing was is kind of a side activity really in many ways. But career-wise, I've been in the technology business and I've started a few companies.
Having gone to the business.
Yes, I started a semiconductor microchip company in Colorado, and
that all excites me,
Yeah. Oh, God, I'm glad to hear that.
Because I used to make radios out of OC71 transistors, Philips. PNP, NPN and all that stuff. You take me back to my childhood, It's a long way away. Okay, so now you're in business and you're based where?
That's right. So now I work for an investment fund in Dublin called Intellectual Ventures.
Intellectual Ventures, right?
Yeah, and we basically invest in intellectual property. So we acquire patents and IP rights from individual inventors as well as very large companies.
So the whole range?
The whole range. And it's a US-based fund, but based in Dublin, the latest fund. And so I'm head of the acquisitions team there.
What a difference, from Carnatic singing to computers to business to venture funding to something different you brought to me. I mean, you haven't brought all this stuff to the Beacon, Dine at Beacon, have you?
Well, no. I mean, so it's always been a passion of mine. And actually, when I met Sudarshan some years ago, we collectively share a passion for South Indian, traditional South Indian food, and namely the concept of tiffin. Which is the idea
of Anglo-Indian name for food that you take lunch into a box.
Yes.
Like dabbawala kind of thing.
Kind of, but we're talking about tiffin is kind of an umbrella term for dosa, vada, idli,
the
sambar.
Transportables.
Yeah. Kind of quick, light eats that can also double up as a main meal, that kind of thing.
If you eat enough, it's a full meal.
Yes, yeah.
We don't have an equivalent in the north. You can't eat 10 samosas and call it a meal.
Well, no. You're right. And actually, Sudarshan and I were having a little chat the other day, comparing stories about how many dosas we were able to eat when we were teenagers.
Right, how many?
I think Sudarshan could devour 17.
Wow.
17 in one sitting.
17?
Yeah, but when we were young, when we were like playing in the fields back home, just swim.
You
in the
sweat it
river.
out.
Yeah, sweat it out.
Yes.
And those are so light,
Yes.
which is a very thin rice.
So dosa has 2 parts rice and 1 part urad dal,
Yeah, it's
fermented overnight.
it's grounded, it's fermented overnight.
What's the advantage of the fermenting process?
It's basically it breaks down the
Like the macronutrients.
macronutrients.
So it's easier to digest.
It's easier to
It's like a superfood.
Yeah.
It is fermented, but it's naturally fermented. There's nothing like artificial yeast or anything goes
No, no,
into
no,
the
no.
fermentation process, which we when we digged a bit deeper on the history of dosa, which the dosa has been
Yeah.
in
How long?
Well, we think it's been around for about 10,000 years.
Oh my God, older than Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Because Yorkshire pudding is the equivalent of it here.
That's right.
But that's only 100 years or something, possibly.
Yeah, I mean it's an ancient food, and there is actually references to dosa in some of the Tamil Sangam literature,
Which are how old?
which is 2,000 years old.
Wow.
But we know that grain storage and these sorts of agricultural methods have been prevalent in India since 5000 BC.
Well, if you look at the Indus Valley culture,
Yeah.
9,000 years ago in a place called Brahminabad, now in Pakistan. Sadly, our culture started in Pakistan. The way they divided us, I mean, my roots are, your roots are all in the Indus Valley, the river Saraswati. And those books are 6,000 years old. And there's proof, but we Indians don't shout about it. Anything good in India, let's keep quiet about it, sort of. So the Indus Valley culture goes back, and Brahminabad is where cattle were first in that part of the world domesticated. So hunter-gatherers became farmers, exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So when you talk about 10,000 years ago, I'm talking about 9,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And it all fits in.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? The funny thing is that the evolution of food is actually a very interesting thing to look at, because it's a function of innovation as well as trial and error in
Yes.
many cases.
Yes, yes.
So these dishes have been evolved over thousands of years. It's the
To see
food-
what suits the palate,
Yeah,
the culture,
and the body.
and the body.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're going to eat chicken tikka masala in England all the time is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's local foods that you should fit in with, because this culture has grown from this culture. And I personally think all this transportation of food from here to there is okay for a bit, but really you should eat local grown food. I believe that. I really believe that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we believe in that passionately too. So, a lot of the ingredients that we are going to be using for our dishes in Dosa Kitchen at the Beacon will be locally sourced. The fish and the prawns and so on will be locally sourced.
Because less upsetting the ozone layer.
Well, yeah. I mean, we believe that, and actually, you look at Indian food in general. It's all locally sourced. Everything it doesn't come from thousands of miles away. The food is a consequence of what is available in your.
So it's a bit like
little
culture, that it's locally and geographically close.
Yeah.
And I mean, you eat out of plantain, banana leaves. Like I was in Bangalore for about 6 weeks once.
Yes.
And there were so many plantain leaves. The beauty is you eat it and it's disposed of.
That's
and
right.
it's so biodegradable. I mean, all these English words have to be adapted. But
That's
they've been
right.
doing it for thousands of years.
That's the beauty. Yeah.
I mean, also in trains we used to have the mud, earthen chukkar, what do you call them?
Mudkas.
Mudkas, you call them?
Yep.
They are more biodegradable than the plastics which the cows are eating and getting their guts filled up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a lot of beauty in the old way instead of stamping the new techniques on.
Yeah.
Okay, so South Indian food is largely vegetarian,
Indeed.
because
yes.
South India is more traditionally Hindu than the North, which has been invaded so many times that we've forgotten who we are. Whereas the South, in fact, the music, Lal Gudi, Jayaraman, is so typically Carnatic.
It is.
Now when I
Yeah.
hear this, it just takes me to Bangalore in my case. Okay, how did you two meet? Because you come from different angles. You come from the hoteliering department,
Yes.
sort of service industry. You come from microchips and all money. And how do you two know each other?
Well, we just met through the local community. So
What, in the temple or something?
Yeah, and we have common friends, and we met that way.
So by chatting with each other, you found deep interest in each
Yeah.
other's.
Yes.
And we both of us just so happen to be from our families originate from the same part of Tamil Nadu.
Okay, which is the cultural center for the South.
Yeah.
You say that with such pride.
Well,
I can see that in your eyes.
very proud of that.
Bharatnatyam and all that comes from Tamil Nadu.
Bharatanatyam, Carnatic music.
Because in the
it's all from
North,
there.
anyone who doesn't understand the South, he says Madrasi hai. Every South Indian is a Madrasi, whether you're from, whether you're a Mallu or Andhraite, you're a Madrasi.
But the funny thing is, Doc, is that each individual state within India, and this is not just confined to South India, has its own culture, has its own language.
It's such a big country, yeah.
So
and distinctive food.
Yeah, and distinctive food.
In fact, each state has its own distinctive god as well. Because Ganesh is so popular in Maharashtra. In Bihar you do Chhat. In Bengal you do Durga, Kali Puja. Punjabis have Durga. Same religion, but different angles. It is such a big country, really.
It's a big country. So when we talk about South India, South India doesn't really mean it's like saying South Europe
or Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Do you mean Chinese? Do you mean Indian? Do you mean Pakistani? Do you mean Tibetan?
That's right. Yeah. So
as long as you're not white, it's okay. Same thing. We have a lady laughing in the background. We'll soon have her in the show as well.
I just think it's something that we often refer to as North Indians. You talk about North Indians.
Or Punjabis. They are Punjabis.
Yeah, it could be
the Bengalis. Anything non-Bengali, he's a Punjabi. And what about them? Oh, Dosa. He's Dosa. So India is so huge, but I believe now with Facebook and television, I used to think the Manipuris are Chinese, because they are more Mongolian looking. Until I met a chap in my own class, Chong Tham. He was my classmate. He could speak Hindi as well. He played the bongo very well.
Yeah.
I said, "Are you Chinese?" He said, "No, I'm from Manipur. My sister learned Manipur dancing." Then I realized that those Indians look very Mongoloid.
Well, I have to say, Doc, that if the way these boundaries and everything is all today, how it's all structured today, is not representative of the history of this region thousands of years ago. So if look at the Chola dynasty, which is one of the...
How long ago was the Chola dynasty around?
Well, the Chola dynasty was around for many hundreds of years. So we're looking at, they were around from the sort of Roman times for hundreds of years after that.
So and it extended 2,500, 3,000 years?
Maybe not so much, but maybe 1,000 years.
Okay.
So it extended all the way up to Calcutta, Bangladesh, and all the way down to Malaysia, Thailand, and so on. So even now, you can see the influence of that empire in these areas.
Influence is there.
Yeah.
Though the history books written after independence, thank you Nehru ji, was all about Mughals. Yeah. Every Mughal king gets a chapter, but the Hindu kings get a tiny microscopic entry into the book. It's fact,
Yeah, and it's actually fascinating reading because they governed, they had order, they had structure, they encouraged the arts, they encouraged the food and promoting the culture from within. And perhaps this it was an enormous empire, and actually that may be similar to other empires within India.
Like Ashoka's empire was in Magad, that is Bihar, UP,
that's right.
Orissa. So we don't talk enough about these olden times. We just talk about from Alexander, who I do not call great. I don't see what's great about him.
But it gives you an idea of why people look the way they look, because thousands of years ago there was mass migration amongst these different territories. So that's maybe something.
So basically, we are saying that culture grows from the ground, religion is from above.
Yes.
But culture keeps evolving. Religion doesn't want to move on, otherwise they are scared. If you change this, that'll go wrong. But culture, depending on the food. I mean, with the water table coming up, I'm sure people's food habits have changed, especially in the coastal regions, Would you say that? Because you use what? Coconut oil more?
We use a lot of we use lots of coconut based products, coconut oil, fresh coconut.
Coconut in the sweets, coconut in the... coconut is a very solid part of the
very solid diet. Part of our diet in the south of India. Yes, because as you said, it's coastal regions which has got coconuts, and it's more like a tropical weather in the south of India, where some of the vegetables,
different vegetables grow better.
Yeah, because of the weather. It's a tropical weather in the south of India.
So what are the popular vegetables then in the south, which are not so common?
Drumsticks, curry leaves.
By the way, call it a vegetable. It's like a fruit hanging from a tree.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's a very distinctive vegetable actually.
And the young ones you just eat, and the old ones you just take the juice out of.
That's right. It's like an artichoke.
I thought you were bringing food in today.
I know, we've let you down. it's just that you're going to have to now be more incentivized to come and actually pay for it, right?
All right. Oh my God, I'm really incentivized now. Okay. So, vegetable and potatoes, are they common?
Not very much on the potatoes. And
it's more common in the north.
In the north. The bananas are very famous in the south of India.
And plantains, the ones you cook.
Yeah, plantains what we cook, and there's about, we would say there's around about 18 varieties of bananas are sold in any market in the south of India.
18 types.
18 types just sold. It's like a different color, different texture, different taste. Everything is unique in its own flavor.
Yes.
Coconut, yes, and some of the fruits really taste much.
They're different.
They're flavorful in south of India.
Papaya. Like also Goa and all this similar climate. It's hotter.
Goa is a slightly different climate, actually.
Goa is unique in its own right.
But again, in South India, Kerala is a different climate.
Yes.
Andhra Pradesh is a different climate.
The opposite coast. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's more dry.
Dry and hot. Yeah.
Hot. And actually, that's a good way to describe Andhra food.
It's spicy food.
Are the people so dry and hot?
Lovely warm people. I mean, like everyone.
But they
else.
eat so much chilies, man. They make curries out of just chilies.
I mean, the Andhra chilies are supposed to be one of the spiciest chilies in the world.
But I've seen them make curry not out of potato with a chili added. It's chili with a potato added.
I mean, that's what we speak about. The food is so much integrated into the culture.
Yeah. Food is the most easiest part of understanding anyone's culture, isn't it?
Yep.
You want to understand people, and music takes a long time. But
again, when you say the coastal area, because on those years and years ago, when we don't have these kind of transport methods, the coastal area people were cooking more of a seafood because that was available for them all the time.
Yes.
And it's a fresh fish. To spice it up, they have to put lots of chilies to turn it up to seafood. It's different when you come into this in the middle of South India, like where it's like Tanjavur and where we are from.
Yes.
We use lots of different rice produce. Even the rice is not just one rice. It's just not like basmati rice or probably I would say at least 8 to 9 different rices are used in the south of India, which everything tastes different.
But then also your tongue learns different tastes, isn't it?
Yes.
Would you say that in the south there is more focus on sour and savory? In the north the variety of sweets is greater. Would you think like that, or you think it's all the same?
Yes, I would agree that to one extent, because we don't go because if you see tamarind, we use in most of the cooking, which gives a sourness to the food.
And even the tamarind is different. The young fresh tamarind is different from the sweetish kind of.
Yeah, but if you see in the north of India, the tamarind is not.
Not used so much. Maybe one chutney or something.
Very, very few things. If you see most of the curries or anything which you make, tamarind is not.
Mangoes used. Yes.
Where you use like amchur powder.
Amchur, yes.
But again,
God, you're bringing saliva to my mouth just talking about it.
There you go.
Again, amchur is used only in the chaat. It's type of like in the part of Bengal.
Fresh, spicy.
Yeah, fresh, spicy. The sourness in the chaat. You know what we say, like pani puri, puri and stuff like that. But you don't actually use them in a lot of curries.
No.
It's more of a cream, sweet and based. Cashew nut is used in a lot of.
Yes, but that's the other thing. You produce a lot of condiments, and cashew nut is grown only in the south.
Yep.
Coffee is grown only in the south.
Coffee.
Tea is grown Assam, Darjeeling and the south, Nilgiri and so on.
And the spices like the whole world prizes about the black pepper. The black pepper and the cardamom actually, we would say we are the largest producer.
Yeah, I think it's certainly one of the largest producers.
You mean Tamil Nadu or Kerala?
I would say Kerala and Tamil Nadu.
Kerala also has a massive amount of these things.
And during in Roman times, black pepper was more expensive than gold. It was the black gold they used to call it, because it was such a new flavor. And just on the topic of chilies, it's Vasco da Gama who brought the chili pepper to India.
Oh really?
Yeah.
From where?
From South America.
But he's from Portugal.
But he brought it around from there. Yeah. So it's
when he came there, that's why I think he took the pepper back with him, the black pepper.
Yeah.
So he brought the green pepper in and took the black pepper out.
He was so fond of the black pepper.
Okay.
Because the black pepper was not grown.
So it is a new taste. Yeah,
it's a new taste. It's the flavor when you grind the black pepper.
It's the essential oils that come out.
Yes. It's just not the oil, it's just the dry black pepper gives so much of flavor.
Yep. That's why even in England, you grind it fresh.
Yeah.
And that's different from something put in the cooking.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did your interest in cooking start? I mean, you're a bloke, man. You're an Indian. How the hell do you cook? Your hands are not designed for cooking. I can't cook. I'm
no,
Indian. I'm a bloke.
I always liked food. I like to try different foods and.
Hi, walk in. We are having a great time with your two new associates in your business.
So you said walk-in centre.
Yes, you will or something.
Yeah?
We cure everything with food. Join in. Here's some
I've
headphones.
only got 5 minutes.
Okay, well, we'll be honored to have Amir in the studio from Dine at the Beacon.
Thank you very much, Doc. Thank you
And
very much
it's
for
because of
the
you
chat.
that these guys are here. So tell us, how did you bring these guys in, and then you can go and I'll keep chatting with
Well,
them.
it's apart from the brilliant idea and the food, I think,
Yeah.
which speaks for its.
It would be nice if you spoke into the mic.
It would, wouldn't it? Apart from the great idea and the food, it was just purely accidentally we met.
Oh, you had a car accident and you...
Something like that, yeah. They were looking for a concert. Was that right, Sudarshan? You were looking for
You're looking for a concert.
of a pop-up restaurant.
I see.
So they spoke to the staff in the Beacon, and they said it might be advisable to talk with myself. And from there, we've ended.
So you just, like venture capitalist, you walked in and said, hello, can we talk about masala dosa in Dine at Beacon?
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Well, I
It
wouldn't
is
quite
amazing.
cook. Yeah, it's not as highbrow
No,
as that,
the
but
way you
it's.
two guys met as well, and the way you
Yeah.
three guys met, and the way we four guys meet, there's nothing called chance,
It's synchronicity. It is, Doc, isn't it? No, I mean,
You like using
it
potwell.
has to be, as Mutton is. I've found out that he's a great fan of food, good food, great fan
So
of
are
good
you?
food, and that's exactly it. So when we spoke,
You have a
there
passion
was an
for
idea.
food
Of course you
and
do.
cooking and serving.
Is there any point eating if you don't enjoy it?
Then you might as well go to. I was going to say McDonald's. I can't because I'm a.
I don't go to McDonald's.
I'm a can't. So
No, I don't
say.
go to McDonald's. So basically, it was a passion for food, I think, and I saw the passion in Mother, and of course the passion in Sudarshan speaks for itself. So it was from there, reading off the same page, giving people good food.
Which you're now venturing, and you are also opening your Dine at Beacon from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yeah,
Every
that's yeah. I mean, every day.
That's amazing,
Yeah, I
An
know.
English company opening over the weekend. Come on,
Yeah.
it's a bit over the top,
No, it's all the halal food is taken off as well, hasn't it?
That's
So
good.
it's going to be got really
But you're
busy.
putting a lot in. You're bringing in very interesting people in.
Yeah, yeah.
So why shouldn't you do well?
Of course I do. But please don't let me take away from Mother.
You don't do takeaways.
Sorry, no, I do. But I don't want to take away from them.
There's no denying that.
Only a river in Egypt.
There's everybody called denial.
But one thing, just when you touched on McDonald's there, an interesting statistic is there are 40 million dosas that are sold in restaurants in India every day. And
How
that's
does that
more
happen?
that's more than McDonald's burgers, by the way.
But because
Yeah.
it's not a franchise and it doesn't have
Yeah.
a big M and I'm loving it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, we weren't going to touch on McDonald's. Sorry.
But you have.
No, I haven't. You did.
Well, I think it's the answer to
I was training with him this morning, so that's the closest I get to McDonald's is when we meet at the gym.
So you eat the owner of the McDonald's?
No, we train together. So.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Alright. So well, once again, congratulations for bringing such fantastic people. Not
they're
only
great guys.
here into the
Yeah,
studio.
yeah, I'm still looking forward to it.
I just missed out on the opening because I was at some cultural event.
Really?
A cultural event, Janiko Mangta.
You've lowered yourself to that, Doc?
Gaurav and yeah, now Angrezi.
Oh, sorry, Gaurav.
Gaurav.
Oh, Gaurav. Yeah, I've been looking for him for 2 weeks. I hope he's listening to this show.
No, he doesn't. He only works for Spice. He's not bothered about listening to it.
Yeah, I know. So
It
listen,
is-
maybe I was thinking about this as a thought,
What?
because Sudarshan isn't busy at all, doesn't work hard enough. It may be an idea for him to come in on your show and do a little 20-minute piece on his favourite recipes once a
But he
week.
can. But as long as he gives me something to eat, he's welcome.
I think you've had enough, Doc.
No, but that's eating rubbish elsewhere. Not his food.
That would be a good idea, wouldn't it, Sudarshan?
Yeah.
Every time you bring food in, I'll have you on air.
All right. Okay.
Your favourite recipes on,
Yeah.
on Doc's show, that'd be.
No, I'm talking about what is this, what is that,
Yeah.
and it's not just on radio; it's on television in a way. So,
Right.
See,
Yeah.
Desi technology.
Right,
Don't need to
okay.
come on.
But
It-
listen,
it-
let me, you guys get on.
No, but you can come on a Wednesday. I'll fix you to come on different shows because we have a different listener. Actually, have listeners, more than one.
Really?
The
Yeah,
main
because,
listener is
yeah, I know,
myself.
because I listen to you in there.
Why don't you put spice on there?
Why?
Why don't you?
I don't like spice.
Well, I don't like spices.
It it upsets my stomach.
Oh no, it's good for health, man. Are you a Gora?
Huh?
Are you a Gora?
Agora?
Ah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You're a Gora. Okay, thank you very
Doc,
much.
let's go back to the theme, please.
Okay, let's go back
You've
to...
come a long way with a
Yes.
great idea.
Yes. So you two met, and just like you met this man perchance, and I met you perchance, there's nothing perchance.
Synchronicity.
It was called synchronicity. Very long word.
I don't know. Are we spelling it or?
Four syllabic words. I don't use big words like that.
You do.
I do. In the beginning?
In the beginning.
Beginning. Which is the correct way to say it?
We've progressed, haven't we, since
Yes.
grunting dot, haven't
Yes.
we? So, you know.
Okay. Oink, oink. See you soon.
I'll see you.
Okay. So,
See you later.
yeah. So that was Amar putting his connection. Amar, sorry. I'm confusing him with somebody else.
Please go for it.
No, I won't do that ever. So, you just walked into Dine at Beacon, met this guy, and you started talking business. Because it's very unusual for a halal kitchen to be talking South Indian food. It's just completely different worlds.
Well, I
It's a
mean,
bit
so
like tectonic plates meeting up.
yeah, so our concept actually, is of a pop-up kitchen.
What is a pop-up kitchen?
So the idea is that there are plenty of cafes and restaurants all over the country that may be open during certain times and may not be open during certain times. And the concept of a pop-up is that we literally pop up.
You bring
on
your
a-
stuff in and
yeah.
open your stall and off you go.
Yeah, but in so far as we actually, instead of it, we kind of take it beyond that stall concept and actually bring a fully fledged working restaurant
So how
to
in
the
that
customer.
tiny place do you set up a South Indian, I mean, that kind of food in a regular English restaurant? I mean, do you have special
Yeah,
plates
so
and...
we will. Yeah, so we will be. If you just imagine it, that place will just be transformed into a South Indian tiffin house every Thursday
How?
night,
I mean,
Friday night, and all the weekends.
But for the dosa, you need a big hot plate to cook it on.
Yeah, so we'll have all that equipment. We're bringing in all the right equipment. So
Where do you get it from?
well, we've ordered some stuff from India. We've bought some other stuff from down in London. So we're
So are there manufacturers here in England that make South Indian cooking?
yes, there are, and a lot of it. I mean, a large proportion of it you just need to get from India, which is what we've done,
okay.
right? Which on a sort of an industrial scale, if we need to be making hundreds of dosas a day or over the weekend, we need all of the right equipment in order
Because
to
a
do
dosa
it.
isn't something you make and store.
No.
You make it fresh and serve.
It's
Yes.
made and served,
And served
straight
immediately.
Away, straight away, yeah.
Even North Indian food like kachoris, puris and all that, they can be stored for a while.
Yeah.
It's best eaten fresh, but it doesn't have to come straight from the oven to your mouth. But in your
That's
case, it
right.
has to, from
It
the
has to.
hot plate straight to your mouth.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, just following on the pop-up concept, we're a pop-up kitchen, but we're regularly popping up at the Beacon every week.
So what days are you here?
So we'll be on Thursday night, Friday night, and all day Saturday and Sunday.
Oh wow, so half the time really.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Half the allocated time you're a pop-up
Yeah.
South Indian kitchen.
that's right. That's
Is
right.
there no better word than South Indian? Karnataka refers to music. You can't say Carnatic food.
No,
It
yeah.
doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I mean that's why we call ourselves Dosa Kitchen.
Okay.
right?
But Dosa is the most famous brand, like chicken tikka masala.
Yeah, I mean it's an highly evolved food, right? And our concept is that if anybody comes to our place at any point in time, they can have a dosa, fresh.
Yes, it can
everything-
only be fresh, like you said.
handmade
You can't-
batter. The chutneys, they're all freshly made. Everything's freshly made. Nothing is from frozen. It's all fresh, clean, healthy food. And
Even-
Easy to digest.
Yeah,
Easy
it's
to
even
digest.
all the ingredients are fresh. We don't use anything from a can to
Yeah, yeah.
Or-
So you don't have ready-made
No.
sauces and
nothing. No, everything.
no
is
preservative, nothing.
nothing.
no,
It's to be fair, it's a naturally a gluten-free food as well.
Yeah.
Most of the food are like naturally gluten-free food.
But you don't use. Do you not use wheat at all in the south, or very little?
only in chapati.
Chapati and
And
puri.
But then again,
puris.
chapati and puris are very North Indian. It's an adapted thing. It's not truly from the south,
It's
is
not,
it?
No.
it's not truly
Yeah.
South Indian, but
Yeah.
if you see like dosas and things like that, there's no wheat.
No wheat at all.
wheat.
So there's no wheat intolerance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's definitely a gluten-free. Food.
And what proportionate of South Indians, shall we make a broad sweep statement, are vegetarians, won't eat eggs or fish or chicken or meat?
It's greater than 50%, and I think it's the funny thing is that certain people will be largely vegetarian, and have some meat.
If they go to the office
for very particular occasions.
But at home there'll be no meat cooking.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of quasi-vegetarianism going on as well.
Would you say many women are more vegetarian than many more men? In the north, I've noticed that. I don't know about south.
I don't think you could make that assumption. Actually, I think it's pretty much the same for both.
Yeah.
But it certainly, vegetarianism is something that has been around for thousands of years, and it's just a part of the culture and the home and the household from which you grow up. So you just kind of roll with that, don't you? As you grow up.
You eat what your parents ate and what you were given.
Yeah. So that's kind of how it is.
So where is there maximum in the south of the 4 states? What are the 4 states? Kerala, Andhra, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. Sort of Goa, would you count it? No, not really. It's Portuguese anyway.
Yeah.
It's a foreigner. And you got Pondicherry on the other side.
Yes.
Which is very Frenchy.
Which belongs to Tamil Nadu. Right?
They've got it's a separate union territory.
Yeah, when you go there, the policemen look like Frenchmen, except they're dark brown.
Goa and Pondicherry are union territory, so they have different government.
Like Daman, Diu and all these funny names.
Yeah, it's a union territory, so still they have a different government from Tamil Nadu government.
Okay.
So,
but they're tiny little places, but they're cute.
Yeah.
They're like Buckingham Palace, they're showpiece.
It's a very cute place, actually, a very beautiful place, Pondicherry. And you're right, the French influence is still there.
Very strong.
And of course the ashram is there of Mother, right, which is there as well.
Where's the ashram of Aurobindo?
That's in Pondicherry, yeah.
With that golden globe and all that.
Yeah. It's actually very small. But it's extremely peaceful and very, very calming when you go there.
People come to visit his grave. He has a grave because he's a saint. He wasn't cremated.
That's right.
So his grave is, though a Hindu,
his
grave is there. Okay, so when you say the package goes together, will you have Carnatic music running in the dinette?
We will.
So I think the more you make it that way, that is culturally in your face.
Well, when you go to eat, you don't just eat with your mouth. You eat with your eyes and ears as well, and your hands, and so we want to create
nice if you have
ambience.
Carnatic music on, and I'll if I'm on here and you're on, which will be the case many occasions, I'll just throw a cable from mic number 3 and sit in the studio, sit in your studio rather, and people can come and say this is lovely. Anyone who says anything against you, will just chop them off. We'll charge them double, but most people. Any of the good people, and it'll be nice to interview people and introduce them to Indian cooking that has not been influenced by outsiders. Like North India is heavily influenced, has its own advantage, but South India has its own strength of not being influenced by the invaders, so its culture is more original.
Well, I think even all foods, when they've evolved and they've survived for thousands of years for a reason, and I think it's because they're authentically brilliant. And the fact that 40 million of these things are sold every day,
40 million,
and the fact that we don't have a fantastic dosa joint in the northeast,
which is amazing,
makes us feel that we might be missing out on something fantastic here.
Somebody started Leelas, if you remember.
Yes.
It was a lady, and then Amma started and stopped and started again.
Yes.
But to have it in my view is another matter. I can't avoid it now. It's right in my face. I'll just seeing it, people eating, I'll have to go and come and eat it. Any idea of the price of what things will cost?
We want to be very moderately priced, so we want people to be able to. We want people to bring their whole families. We want large groups of people to come. We'll be a 50-cover restaurant, so there's going to be plenty of space for people to come down. So the average dosa won't be anything more than between £4 to £5, and that comes with all the side dishes and so on. So we believe we sort of when Sudarshan and I were kind of thinking about this, we thought Wagamamas meets dosa, that kind of concept, so it's a kind of canteen environment is what we want to create. And so that's what we'll be bringing to Dosa Kitchen at the Beacon.
So by dosa you mean sada dosa, plain dosa, with no potato filling at all?
No, we have different dosas.
Then tell me about it.
You can choose from
so one is just simple dosa with nothing in air inside.
Plain dosa.
Yeah. Then masala dosa.
Potato masala dosa.
So masala dosa means potato, really?
It's potato. Yeah.
A not very spicy, very gentle potato. Nice, well-behaved, gentlemanly taste.
Yeah.
It won't be really spicy, but it's got a very unique flavor.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the spices.
yeah.
What
And spices come from outside.
uh,
Like meaning your chutney and your sambar.
in the potato itself,
Uh-huh.
we will add some spices, not to make it spicy hot,
But-
but it'll have a flavor.
Okay, okay.
It'll have a
okay.
flavor.
So it will not be just
Even-
potato sandwich kind
yes,
of thing.
even
yeah.
if you don't touch the sambar and chutney with the masala dosa, it'll have a different flavor.
God, you're making me so hungry. My mental taste buds are just dripping away.
And then we have paneer dosa.
Paneer, which is cottage
Cottage
cheese.
cheese with
Again, vegetarian.
vegetarian. All dosas are vegetarian.
Okay.
basically. So it's got some spices. We got egg dosa.
As long as the chicken is vegetarian. As
right.
the chicken is a good Brahmin, it's okay. Okay,
That's
carry
right.
on.
That's right. That's
egg
right.
dosa, and
Okay.
we got something called a podi dosa, which is
Podi.
Podi. We say it's like a gunpowder.
Oh
which
my
is-
God.
It's not the gunpowder.
It's supposed to be spicy then.
It's spicy. It's got a good kick to it when you eat the dosa.
Yes.
It's again homemade podi. We say like different spices, lentils, and everything, or sort dry roasted and grounded. And we sprinkle it on the dosa, and then that's a podi dosa. There's about 5 different varieties of dosa which you can choose
Okay.
from.
So dosa is the mainstay. Do you make uttapam?
Yes, we do have uttapam. We have like a
So tell the public what is an uttapam.
it's a close relative.
You're telling a North Indian what is an uttapam.
Okay, I would say it's a close relative of dosa, which is
Fatter?
fluffy, slightly fluffy,
Uh-huh.
crispy outside, and soft inside,
Okay.
and it's slightly.
A bit like a good omelette.
I would say like.
Yeah.
I would say
It's a bit thicker than a dosa.
It's definitely thicker than a dosa.
And there's no filling. It is the filling itself.
No, you can either have it plain or you can have like a tomato and onion on the top, or we have
Okay, like a pizza.
Like a pizza. But we have our specialty DK's mixture, like onions, coriander, green chilies, tomatoes, onions, gunpowder. So it's
What is this gunpowder? Is it made of sulfur or something?
It's a phenomenal thing. I'm surprised you've never.
No, I know actually.
Yeah.
I think it's chickpea powder and ground with chilies in it, and
It's a lot of as I said, it's lots of different lentils and pulses go and dry
Yes,
roasted
yes.
and mixed together
Yes.
to a perfect.
but it's not powdery. It's left slightly granular.
Slightly grainy.
Yeah.
Slightly grainy. So that's the different kinds of dosas and uttapam we have on the menu.
What about vadas?
Oh yeah, vadas. It should be on the South Indian menu. So we have like 2 different vadas. One is like a medu vada again, which is
Medu vada. What is
medu
that?
vada. It's made out of urud dal, which is really crispy on the outside and very fluffy and soft inside. And then we have another vada. It's parupu vada. It's like a masala vada. It's made with a different lentil again, with spices and fresh coriander, green chilies, red chilies, garlic, and everything. We got 2 different types of vadas. We got idlis. if you know
Okay.
what's idlis.
Yes, I know what it is.
It's a steamed, the thing which is.
It's a bit like dhokla with the wrong color. Dhoklas are, isn't it?
It's probably quite a close relation to a
Or the
dokla.
cake even, except
Yeah.
it's steamed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's steamed, extremely healthy because there's no oil.
Nothing,
something
yes.
Purely
I mean,
steamed.
this food is good for people with blood pressure and so on, Maybe that should be the treatment we should give instead of tablets. Come to dine at Beacon on Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And
We always consider food as.
food is medicine.
yeah.
Exactly. If you eat the right
Right
food in
food.
the right region.
And I think that's what we always believe in the ancient times. They had. There's a tradition when you eat a heavy meal, eating too much of meat. Back in India, we always have a concept of having a little bit of fennel seeds. Sonf, yeah. That actually digest to. It actually.
Well, it's
helps
in
to
gripe
digest.
water for babies. It makes the food go down. I mean, so really in India we still, and Pakistan and Bangladesh, we still have curries being used as a health promoting thing, because turmeric is an antiseptic.
That's the classic thing which I would say turmeric. It's a natural antiseptic, which when we do any meat, we always use turmeric as a marinade.
To make sure it lasts for a bit in the heat of India.
No. The basic thing is any meat, especially back in India, yes, we use a lot of chicken or fish or lamb. You see, the first thing they do is they get the meat, wash it up, and they straight away add the turmeric powder and mix it and marinate for some time.
For time, yeah.
Which
Why?
kills all the salmonella, which kills all the bad bacteria, because it's the best antibiotic.
It's
natural.
and no harm coming like in antibiotics which kill the good germs.
With which will kill all the bad bacteria and salmonella and things like that.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
And then we add it during the cooking, which gives a lot of flavor. Which turmeric has got, it's a unique flavor.
In Hindi you call it haldi.
Haldi. Yeah.
What do you call it in the south?
Yeah,
Manjal.
Manjali.
Manjal.
Manjal.
Manjal means yellow in color. So
The yellow color, like orange is orange and manjal is yellow.
Yeah, manjal. So yeah, turmeric is used in most of the cooking, especially with the meat preparation, which gives a lot of flavor and which gives a lot of
protection, really, health protection.
Health protection.
What about ginger and garlic?
Ginger the same. It helps for the digestion. Garlic is good for flavor.
And garlic lowers your cholesterol.
Cholesterol as well, but ginger is very good for digestion. If back in India, if we have an indigestion, sometimes they say like, okay, just boil the water with some ginger and some. We get a sugar from the palm tree and add to that.
Palm good and palm sugar.
It's like
palm candy.
Palm candy. You're right, palm candy, and then you drink it, which actually settles down your heartburns and your indigestion kind of a thing. So ginger is a very important thing in a cooking, and curry leaves are very.
So I believe that the English word curry, having a curry, is not an Indian term.
No.
It comes from the curry leaf itself.
I think
the term was adapted from there.
The curry leaves are adapted from there, but we call it as karve pillai.
Karve Pillai. Sounds like someone's name, Mr. Pillai, Karve Pillai. Or Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. What does Pillai mean in Tamil?
Pillai in Tamil means son or boy.
Okay.
So it's karve pillai. That's something which it's got a lot of medical.
What advantage? Is it an appetite stimulant? Because it's bitter.
It's bitter. If you cook it in the right way, it's not bitter. If you don't cook it, if you just eat like a raw.
Oh, it'll be like eating neem or something.
Neem it's bitter, but if you cook it in the right way, it gives a lot of flavor to the food. It's got health benefits. I can't tell you what exactly will that do.
It'll be good that produce some literature for the people to understand that what they're eating, this has this benefit, that, because people are very interested in health now. Nowadays, everything is on Google. I mean, there are a few wrong things, but wrong things are taught in medical school as well.
Yeah.
So, health benefits of food, it's quite important, because we Asians who eat meat, I'm a meat eater, but we couldn't afford meat every day. But here we are devouring vast amounts, which is not good for the kidneys or anything. And then suddenly you reach a level where your greed stops and you say, well, I'm not poor anymore. I've not just come from Patna. I don't need to eat so much meat. So people start thinking health as is common in the West.
Yeah.
A lot of people who can afford meat. I meet a lot of vegans, white people, local born, who become total vegetarians and vegans even.
I think what's interesting actually is if you culturally look at the way Indian food has been developed and evolved, the health aspect has always been has always underpinned it actually in many ways.
Almost like Ayurvedic medicine.
Yeah, it's not an afterthought.
No, it's part and parcel of your living.
Yeah.
So healthy living.
Yeah.
Instead of let's fall ill, then go to the doctors, then he'll give me some treatment.
Yeah.
Even the word Ayurveda means Ayush means life, long life, and Veda is knowledge. So and Western medicine is called medicine, like out of a bottle.
The
concept is different.
This is the wonderful thing about it, because actually, if you think of like a Venn diagram with yoga, religion, culture, and food and music, there's a tremendous amount of overlap there.
Yes.
And that's what's very interesting about our culture and our food, is that that health and well-being and a spirituality and happiness.
So you've got tamasic food, rajasic food, sattvic food.
Yeah.
In the West you had all this, like you've got Vata, Pitta, Kapha personalities in Ayurveda. In the West you had ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph.
Yeah.
Ectomorph are tall, thin thinkers. Yon Cassius is a lean and hungry loaf. Mesomorph are the fighters, short and ready to fight, and endomorphs are fatties. So the same good-natured but chubby. So they had all this in Western medicine. It's all been kicked out by the modern pharmaceutical industry. So what wisdom was there in the West? There was. I mean, all cultures have a wisdom. The modern food industry, the modern petrochemical industry, they all just push all that aside for profits, for shareholders.
I think what certainly the one thing I would say, being objective as possible, of course,
if possible,
is that I think vegetarian food in the West has always been categorized as being bland and boring. And I think that in Indian food in general, actually, and I'm not just talking about South Indian food here, does an enormously brilliant job
of vegetarian food. And there's enough protein there.
Yeah.
And now on Facebook you see that broccoli, weight for weight, has as much protein as meat.
There you go.
I didn't know broccoli had anything to do with I thought it's vitamins and roughage.
Yeah.
But slowly you start finding out that, there's a lot of good food. The only people in the West who are very clever with food, Indian food, is Hare Krishna people. Because they go into it, they're educated, they're highly educated people who have chosen to go towards Hindu Dharma.
Yeah.
So they're not natural born like me and you, knowing a little bit. They study it. And if you eat their food, it's got a lot of yogurt in it, which provides proteins, a lot of milk products in it. Because even the milk that was available to us in the villages still today is a different milk from some milk board, marketing board, which is in large amounts, pasteurized, vitamins added. So there is a lot of food that is very organic still in India.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes,
Absolutely right.
Absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, so we were saying that food used to be, do you think we're just reverting to this old style, or India has maintained an undercurrent of its cultural values, including food and dance and music and drama and yoga, despite all that's happened on the surface?
Let me tell you something, Doc. It's certainly my observation is that when, if you look at India as a whole, consumerism and the open markets has brought in a wealth of what everybody has been enjoying in the West, and it's just deluged India, right? So it's kind of in that kind of figuring out who it is and what it wants to be.
The flux of the tsunami of Western industrialization kind of thing.
Yeah. What I have found though is when people come out of India, they appreciate their culture so
much more.
Their food, they start craving your food. You start craving your culture.
Whereas you'll be
music.
eating, I'll say pizzas, because that's what they call it, not pizzas.
Yeah.
They'll be having pizzas, and then suddenly they realize, what am I missing out?
That's right.
Well, in Hindi there's a saying, when the fish is out of water, it realizes the value of water. Machli pani ke bahar jab hoti hai, tab use takleef hoti hai. So when we are out of our own culture zone, I'm not saying that we shouldn't eat English food, but the beauty of what we had there shouldn't be lost.
Yeah.
We should be adding, we should be promoting in this culture what's good for there, and vice versa, learning from here what's good here.
So I think, in answer to your original question, I think the culture, the food, and the music will stay strong, and it will ebb and flow, but it will always be strong.
And it will adapt to the times.
And it will adapt to the times, and that's what I'm seeing, is that you're looking, they had the equivalent of American Idol in Tamil Nadu, all about sort of cinema music and that kind of thing, and now they're having like a Carnatic Idol.
So now it's getting to the traditional.
So it kind of goes full circle. It comes back again, and that's what's going to make. And if I look at Carnatic music, there are some cool guys singing Carnatic music.
Yes. Modern cool guys.
Yeah, it's
with long hair and guitars.
Yeah, and spiked up hair, and they're brilliantly talented.
Yes.
But they're more relatable to everybody.
Whereas same in Pakistan, you might have a young guy, Atif Aslam, or someone who's modern and handsome and sexy and all, and yet he'll be singing some very folk music and bring tears to everyone's eyes.
Yeah.
So the soul of it remains despite all the changes and despite all the modernization and despite all the speaking in English and westernization and all that. But the beauty of it survived for thousands. I think Indian classical music, Carnatic and Hindustani, have survived the test of time. It's still around,
Yeah, and it evolves. It
adapts.
It grows grows new capabilities. It comes all the way back around. So another interesting thing is, you go onto YouTube, you can see Lal Guri's concerts, you can see G.N. Balasubramaniam and all these old stalwarts of 50 years ago, which when I was growing up, I didn't have access to.
Yes. Well, I think YouTube has maximally helped one country, India. Because our culture is so colorful, it's helped everybody. But maximum advantage we have got because our culture is so colorful, food-wise, dance-wise, music-wise. Not all cultures are like that, Our culture is very unrestricted.
That's right.
It's in full glory, like a peacock's tail. And I definitely believe that, but more generically, the Indian subcontinent, and the Eastern cultures which believe in family connection. Then there's WhatsApp, and you got Skype. The problem is people come on Skype and never leave, they just don't go away.
That's right.
So we are much more connected, and I think all these things have helped, and that's why Narendra Modi's contact with what's his name, Mark Zuckerberg, was amazing.
Yeah,
it is amazing, because two huge democracies, and you connect with each other. I mean, you're a technical guy for nothing.
Yeah.
On Facebook, there's so many ideas we are sharing. Isn't it also that there'll be problems initially when the tectonic plates of different cultures clash?
Well, naturally,
like earthquakes and floods in the geological world, geophysical world.
Yeah.
Culturally, that will happen for a while, and then they'll absorb from each other.
They definitely absorb, they assimilate, and they take the good from one another. And that happens, and we shouldn't look at things on a very short time scale.
No, exactly.
Things evolve over a very long period of time, and it should be judged based on that, as opposed to a very short sort of slice of time.
Didn't Narendra Modi go to the Middle East? And who's a very famous Kapoor? Who's that master chef in India? Sanjeev Kapoor. He went and made some meat dishes, because how can Arabs not eat meat? And they chose to completely ignore it, and they all ate vegetarian. So this kind of thing you couldn't imagine once upon a time. But interesting things are happening, There's much more in and out with different cultures.
Yeah.
And especially we who live in the West. I mean, in India we are used to Muslims and Christians and Sikhs and Hindus, of course. But here, I'm making friends with Pakistanis, which is not possible in India. Pakistanis are making friends with me, which is not possible in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Whereas here, you got the freedom to, of course, be nasty to each other, but also to be nice to each other. Yes.
Well, these three pillars that bring people together. Your culture, your food, and music.
There's a fourth one which happens at night. We won't mention it, but carry on.
You had to bring down
bring
the
it
tone,
up
didn't you?
to Kama Sutra level, but carry on. How can I get away without using the word Kama Sutra? I come from that country,
Yeah.
But these three things, you're quite right. I mean, look at India and Pakistan. When it's cricket, we most enjoy the India-Pakistan fracas. Whatever you say, even if you're abusing, that's so much fun. It's like a brother-in-law relationship, teasing.
That's right.
If you look at music, when you have all the famous musicians from Mumbai and from Pakistan, of course, meeting in Dubai, it's safer there.
Yeah.
It is that, and food, of course, we share.
Yeah. So talking about the popularity of Carnatic music, Sanjay Subramaniam and his disciples are all really, really smart kids. Some of them are born and brought up in the US, and they're now making a living out of being a professional singer in India.
Yes.
Right? That's how it's kind of gone full circle.
Yes.
So, even my buddy Arun, who might be listening to this program, had a
Arun Harish. Who doesn't know Arun Harish? He was there in the show yesterday at the Gateshead Hall.
Yeah.
Old Hall.
Yeah.
He came late, but he was there. His wife wasn't there.
Yeah.
She was probably minding the kids or something.
I think so.
And he was there, and there was an English lady psychiatrist there.
Okay.
And I was sitting next to her, and you know how my style of talking, I just interview anybody. And I said, how are you interested in Indian music? She said, I've been studying it deeply for the last 20 years.
Yes.
I said, how? She said, I came to your house when I was a little girl. My mother took me to Gurukul, to my house, the doctor's house.
All right.
And she says, and I met Arun Harish there. And Vidya and them took me to concerts. And I'm totally sold on this. She says, there's two kinds of music I like, jazz, Western jazz, and Indian classical music, Carnatic and North Indian.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So you were talking about Arun, yes?
Yeah, so I was just merely making the point that Arun has a Skype, a lesson via Skype for Carnatic music with a chap in India.
I had said to...
I mean, just think about
how cool
that for
is
a
that?
second.
I said this 5 years ago to my friend Vijay Rajput.
Yeah.
But at that time, Skype was not, what is it called? When the sound travels both ways.
There's some issue of bandwidth issues.
Yeah, bandwidth wasn't wide enough, so he would give a lesson. Ni re ga re sa no da 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 da. They couldn't sing together.
Yeah.
But now Skype is so good.
Yes.
And so free.
That's right.
I mean, would you consider giving cooking lessons via Skype?
I mean, you can.
If you need a good camera, I'm at your service. Because I love doing video work.
I mean, at the minute, we need to focus more on the Dosa kitchen. Once we wanted to establish ourselves really, strong in the Dosa kitchen, make sure the flow's right, everything goes right, and definitely there is.
I mean, you could have cookery lessons in the kitchen. Because the best way is education, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely believe strongly that I've learned my cooking from some of the masters, and I always believe that I need to pass on the skills to
others instead of hanging on to it.
To me,
yes,
that's for sure.
Yes.
But as you said, it'll be a great opportunity for people to learn our cuisine and cook at home and test it at home.
Because in the West, all we think of Indian food is chicken tikka masala. Even the Queen eats chicken tikka masala, but it doesn't have a chicken or tikka or masala. It can be something a bit more authentic. There's no Balti chicken in India or Pakistan.
No.
It's a Western creation, isn't it?
Yes,
that's right.
But what you're talking about is, have you met Harish from Rasa?
No.
Okay, I know him extremely well. Certainly, you know the Rasa restaurant, Sri Das or something.
Das, yeah.
So it's interesting. Have you any links with him?
Well, I've met Das before actually, and
he's also doing very innovative work, like bringing masalas from back home and.
Yeah. No,
so there's a lot of pride now in India, particularly, which we were kind of. We would say this is South Asian food. Now we can say it's Indian food with pride. So there's a subtle change, especially in your generation.
Yeah.
A little less in mine because we are a bit more scared and old-fashioned. But there's a kind of pride in promoting your culture.
I think so. I mean, that's what Sudarshan and I believe passionately about, actually. And the very reason why we started Dosa Kitchen was because we wanted to promote Tamil Nadu cuisine. So, I mean, I agree with you. And in fact, what I'd like to see over time is go that 2 steps further, whereby it's not just Indian food, it's Karnataka food, it's Kerala
all
food,
the different,
it's Rajasthani food.
Yes, which is completely different.
Which is completely
Gujarati
different.
food.
Yeah. I mean, that would be brilliant, because actually, if you equate India to Europe, you go to Spain, you get something completely different
food
to what you get in Finland, right?
Yes.
So I think that's kind of where we need to get to. Right?
And Kashmiri food is so different from Tamil Nadu food.
It's different. I mean, Bengal
food is very different from Rajasthan food.
I mean, even within Tamil Nadu, even within Andhra Pradesh, even within Kerala, the food is so different. If you take Andhra Pradesh, the Hyderabadi food is completely different from the rest of the Andhra.
Did you see the movie Chini Kam?
I didn't.
Amitabh Bachchan, age 63, is in love with a girl age 33, and all because she complained about the food, and he's a chef, and he really got very angry, saying, "What's wrong?" She says, "There's too much sugar in this," and in Hyderabadi biryani, you're not supposed to have sugar. Somebody made a mistake, and that's how their love affair started, etc. In the movie.
Okay.
So it's called Chini Kam, means little less sugar, please. Okay. You're not supposed to have any sugar. So I mean, talking about that, a lot of movies come out in Tamil Nadu and Kerala and Bengal, regional movies. They do well, and they've turned into Mumbai Hindi movies, or Urdu movies, whatever you want to call them, isn't it? That's another source of cultural connections with the West, with us abroad, and with the people in India. So the movies is another very strong link of people in India, isn't it?
You're absolutely right. I mean, one of the things that we do actually in our place, and that we hope to do, is just as the posters you have up there, we want to have posters of Rajnikant's famous
machine
films.
guns all over, blazing.
And the very old movies,
the old ones. Because
when you run the Dosa Kitchen,
yes,
you should have South Indian movies running at least silently. Let people say, "What is this? What is this?" with English subtitles.
That's certainly one idea.
I mean, I'd come in a dhoti myself. I like dressing up.
Well, I'm sure you do, though.
Yeah, I love. I mean, often I go to a wedding and I'm better dressed than the bride. Never mind the groom. But it's called pride in your culture.
Yeah.
And whenever you're there and if the studio is empty and free, just walk in. It'll be off. As long as I get a dosa.
Oh. Definitely.
No, but I'd love to learn to cook, because even in Patna, when I left Patna in 75, there were chaps who would come on a thela, those 4 cycle wheel things, with a tongue
noise,
dosa, making dosas. So it became, and we had Bharat Coffee House.
Yes.
You heard about them? It was quite popular all over India.
Yes.
And that's where students sat and discussed politics and did all these things students do in Patna. In the Bharat Coffee House, because coffee was inexpensive.
Yes.
It was a real coffee. It wasn't Nescafe. It was a real South Indian coffee. Proper coffee, filter coffee.
Funny thing is that food is we talked about it the other day, not the other day, but a few minutes ago, about how it you eat with your eyes and your ears,
Yes, yes.
and not just
Tactile,
through your mouth.
visual.
Yeah.
Huh.
One of the things that we wanted to recreate is how you feel when you have certain dishes. So, for example, when you see a dosa, it's beautiful. It's like
It's attractive.
a beautiful looking thing.
Yes, yes.
You eat with your eyes. We want that first nip of it.
But that is the real taste, isn't it?
That's we want to recreate that.
Yeah.
We want to recreate that almost unctuous quality of dunking a piece of idli in some sambar, and
It sounds like poetry.
And
Man.
it's just
Oh wait, carry on.
wonderful. And then, of course, I don't know. The other thing we need to mention to you is that on Sunday lunch,
Yes.
we'll be doing what we call a sapad, which
Thali.
is something similar to thali, where we have multiple different dishes.
How much will that be?
So it's somewhere between 11 and 12 pounds. So
Okay.
we do a
So that's a
non-vegetarian,
full feast.
a full
full
feast.
Or vegetarian or non-vegetarian.
Yeah. And that, to me, that reminds me of when I was a kid and I went to some weddings in
That's what
in
you
Chennai.
deserve.
Yes.
You know, where you have all the excitement of
So
seeing
are
all
these
those different
stainless steel
things.
plates with lots of
Yes.
compartments?
We're going to serve all the food in the stainless steel plate what we get back in India. There's no Chinaware or anything like that.
So proper South Indian.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
really a
What about the tea? Would you give it in steel glasses and drink like that?
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be a
Wow.
It is going to be exactly what is served in South India.
Well, get some proper South Indians someday, and I'll film them. So it's
Well, you know, yeah.
no, but you have to
absolutely.
dress and look and talk proper, like South Indian, not like Angrez.
I mean, going back to the sapad, what we planned is, yes, as Madan said, loads of different things to taste, you know, and you know, it's
So get the sense of it.
get the sense of it, but it's unlimited. You can have as much as you want, but it's served onto your table, and no sapad is the same. So every week, there's no certain
Okay,
menu for
okay.
the sapad. So if you come this Sunday and
It'll
you
be a
come
different
next
sapar
Sunday,
from the next one.
the varieties what you get there would be different.
Would you get papadam?
Yes, definitely.
What do you
Yes.
call papadam in the south? Is it papad or papadam?
We call
Appalam.
it appalam.
So from appalam is become papadom in England. There's nothing called papadom in India.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So might be an interesting little research.
No,
item
because
to
in
see
the
how
north we
that-
call it papad,
Papad.
and you call it appalam.
Yeah.
You know, there's a song called Appalam, Chappalam, Chappalaire, and so on and so on. It's probably from that, you know, Appalam, Chappalam.
It
It
could
doesn't
be.
mean anything, it's just a rhyming slang.
It could well be.
You
It's
learn
funny.
so
It's funny
much.
how so many little things have amalgamated and merged into one another. Appalam or papadam might be an amalgamation of appalam and papad. You know,
Yes.
it's like so many things like that have
But the
happened.
Brits brought it here in those terms, like Kanpur became Kanpur,
Yeah,
Patna became Patna, and Kolkata became Calcutta.
yeah.
Now we find it funny that it's a reverting.
It's rewarding.
So what are the names? I mean, you
Madras.
You come from Chennai.
Madras. It used to be
But it used to be Madras,
Madras,
then it's become Chennai.
Chennai,
But the old name was Chennai,
Madras.
and it used to be Madrasapatnam.
Patnam.
Yeah.
What does Patnam mean? I'm from
Patnam
Patna.
means
That's why.
Patnam
Like
means a city.
Visakhapatnam.
Patnam means a city.
Okay.
So Madrasapatnam means Madras.
city of
a
Madras.
It's a city of Madras, yeah.
Or Newcastle Patnam?
Yeah?
Well, you know, the funny thing is that Newcastle is a obviously a name of this is where we are, but in Tamil Nadu there's a place called Pudukkottai.
Pudukkottai.
Pudu means new.
Pudu is a very rude word in Punjabi, so don't say it again, please.
Sorry.
It refers to parts of someone's body, but never mind.
Yes,
So never say Pudukkottai loudly.
Well, I'm definitely not on the radio as well, right? Tom?
Not on my show, it's a very polite show. Okay.
But anyway, that particular word, which I will not,
Which we will not repeat.
means Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Yeah.
So the people here are quite fudus, you know. Fudus means stupid. Of course, alluding to the part of a body. So it's quite appropriate. Pudukkottai. Okay. Okay. So Pudu means new, does it?
It means new.
New.
Yeah, in Tamil it's anything new we call
Pudu.
Pudu.
Okay. I'm laughing because the real meaning in Punjabi is quite different.
Yeah, that's where again we come from.
I'm glad we cut the phone line out. Somebody will be complaining. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, the language. You know, in India, we have so many different languages where one term in a different language
Means
be
something
referenced-
completely different.
See, as we said, like how many in those years when all these languages evolved, how many Tamil people know what's Punjab? what's Punjabi language or how many
Well, you're right. I mean,
Bengalis know what's Tamil.
Tamil civilization is the kind of last surviving classical civilization, because actually Tamil
Wasn't
as,
touched.
as a language is not at all derived from any of the
Anyway.
other.
No, it's completely different from
yeah.
Sanskrit and everything.
That's right. So maybe that's why there's this complete incompatibility between the two, where one word in Tamil means something completely different in another.
Is that okay?
Well, I'm very impressed.
And Pythium is nutter.
How did you know that? How did you know that word? Yeah.
But I know a lot of swear words I can't use. I always learn the swear words first. They're more interesting, aren't they? Like a little child learning some dirty word and in front of parents saying, na 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 na. Okay, that's all I know. Okay. So, tell me about your background. I haven't quite asked how you studied and how you came to this point to meet this gentleman.
Oh,
and then your passion for work started together.
Yeah, I mean,
Where were you born, first of all?
I was born in a small village near Coimbatore. We're basically an agriculture family. As I said, like I love food which my mom makes. That's what we eat every day. And then when we go to the relatives' place, we have different.
So you stayed in the small town or village almost.
I was born in a very small village,
And
but
then?
I did my schoolings in a boarding school. So
Okay.
I was away from home and since I was like 7.
All in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, all in Tamil Nadu. And when I finished my schoolings, and I picked to do hotel management
Where?
in Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
It's an institute.
What is the company called?
The institute is called PSG College of Technology.
PSG College of Technology.
Yeah, and catering. I mean PSG College of Technology, Arts and Science.
How long did you have to study there?
I did my 3 years bachelor's degree
In
hotel management.
hotel management.
And
So what are the things you're taught in hotel management?
see, it's the first year you get the basic about there are 4 core departments in the hotel. It's like reception, it's the front of the house, housekeeping, cleaning the rooms, food and beverage service, which is in the service front of the house.
Safety.
No, the food and beverage service.
Service.
people
Okay.
serving. And then we have kitchen, food
So
production.
that's how you look after food and
how you cook and everything. So that's the first
what temperatures have to be maintained,
Yes.
those kind of things.
It's just that's a part of it. But the first year is basics. You learn about all these 4 different departments. And the second year, you can actually make a choice where you want to specialize. You want to be a chef, then you
Okay.
go into production. If you want to be a food and beverage service person and become a food and beverage manager, you be a service personnel, and then housekeeping in the front of the house. And then
So you
that's-
choose amongst these 4 specialities.
what you wanted to specialize.
Right.
And fortunately or unfortunately, because of the food which I loved when I was a kid, I wanted to be in the production.
Yes.
So-
So you could eat it.
I don't eat it, yeah. Fond of chocolates, ice
Yeah.
cream, which you just when you're in the kitchen, you always have access to ice cream.
Yeah, why not?
chocolates,
Why
and
not?
Pastry. So yeah, probably that's one reason.
That's what took you there.
Yeah. So I wanted to specialize in production, and then
Right.
yes, I did my trainings in Meridian hotels when I was in the college.
All right. So what kind of foods? Not just South Indian food.
Back in India, the hotels, like the 5-star hotels, will cater all kinds
The
of
whole range, Chinese,
Yeah.
Indian.
It'll have different
everything.
kitchens like Chinese, Western food, continental food, we say, which will be a mixture of Italian, French, and everything. And there'll be a specialized Indian, which is like a North Indian restaurant, and there'll be a specialized South Indian restaurant.
Okay.
Most of the 5-star hotels will have that combination.
All this range.
Yeah, but nowadays it's gone big. It's Pan-Asian, Thai,
Even that specialist.
when Madan said something about in the UK we wanted something like Tamil Nadu, Andhra, like that back in India in the 5-star hotels they started.
They
getting
do have
regional
those kind of
food, like
regional foods, yes.
Thai food,
Yes.
Chinese
Or at
food.
least one night with only Rajasthani food, another night
No,
with
they've got
Bengali.
particular restaurants.
Full restaurants,
Full
just
restaurant.
doing that all the time.
Yeah. In some of the Sheraton
So
hotels,
the-
they've
so
got
the
something
range is wide.
It's wide nowadays, but when I'm speaking 15, 16 years ago, when I started, it was just these little.
Okay.
4
The
different-
ideas had started.
Yes, then I did my training, and my first job was with Kempinski Group of Hotels in Bombay. It's called Leela Kempinski. It's a flagship property in Bombay.
Leela is a massive company.
Massive company,
Massive, yeah.
So that's where I started. I took my first job as a comic.
Wasn't Leela a textile manufacturer and then he turned to this? Because Leela's got the biggest hotel in Delhi, the most posh one in Chanakyapuri.
Yes.
7 stars. So Leela is quite something admirable.
Yes, they're very nice properties. The Bombay Leela was the first
Right.
So I started
And that's
there.
his wife's name actually. Yes.
It's Captain Nair who founded the company.
From
He's from Kerala.
Kerala,
From
yes,
Kerala.
yes.
He's a very nice man. So I started there, and from there I moved to Dubai. I worked for Burj Al Arab for a couple of months, and then I was transferred to the pre-opening Madinat Zumaira. It's one of the
Making what kind of food?
where I started there with a Mediterranean seafood restaurant there.
Okay.
Right, so
I haven't got interest in chocolates and South Indian food. Now he's making Mediterranean food.
yes, I've got Mediterranean. I've worked in a Mediterranean specialty restaurant within the hotel, within Madinat Zumaira. About 2.5 years I was there. Then I went back and started working for ITC Kakatiya Sheraton in Hyderabad, that's where my passion to learn the South Indian food.
When you reached Hyderabad.
Because Hyderabad ITC Kakatiya Sheraton has got a restaurant.
ITC is the Indian Tobacco Company, but now they do hotels instead of cigarettes.
It's not now. They've been there.
And they've been doing music as well. They promote music in a very big way.
ITC is
It's really big.
Yeah, it's big now. But they started their first hotel in 1979. It's called the Chola in Chennai. Chola Sheraton in Chennai. So they're old. They're old. But now they're big.
They've been diversifying for a very long time.
Very long time. So yes, I started there where I had learned a lot of South Indian food, and yes, I learned quite a bit there. Then I came to the UK, working.
Which year?
In 2006.
Okay.
Working for the Novotel in the Wolverhampton.
Okay.
And I went back.
What were you doing there?
I was a chef. I was a sous
Making
chef.
what food?
Making mainly the European food. It's
That's what I'm saying. I mean, your range is amazing. Yeah.
yes, that was good. Making the local food, like making fresh Yorkshire puddings, and learning the traditional.
Not Yorkshire pudding from Chennai, but Yorkshire pudding from Yorkshire.
From Yorkshire.
Yes.
Yeah, I can make the best Yorkshire pudding
Of
because
course,
I've learned
of
it from
The proper Yorkshireman. Okay.
Yorkshire women.
Women.
actually.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah. No.
So while all the men are playing cricket, you're learning to make Yorkshire pudding. You're a dangerous guy, man. Okay. Okay, and then?
And then I gone back to India, and I worked for Park Sheraton in Chennai. That's again a Sheraton hotel where the Dakshin, which is the very famous restaurant in the world, which is within the Sheraton group of hotels.
Okay.
And the founder of that restaurant was my executive chef, Praveen Anand.
Okay.
And he's the one who's developed all the recipes and everything for Dakshin.
Wow.
And he's a great chef. He's one of the top celebrities. He's not a celebrity chef, but he's one of
He's highly
rated as one of
respected in the chef world.
In the world. He's
Okay,
one
like
of
a
the-
high professional.
As a very, very professional chef, where most of his recipes are not just sat down in the office and written. He would actually go, if he wants to learn about the food, he'll find a particular region where he has to
And go there physically.
and physically go there
And look at how
and
people
look
are
at-
making it.
And he wouldn't just go into a restaurant and look at it.
No,
he
no,
would
no.
go to a household where
How actual people are actually eating it.
Actually, it's made.
Wow.
Why it's making.
So he's got real passion for the stuff.
Yes, so that's what he
Authenticity.
did. Authenticity. He would learn it from them and then come and
Wow.
if he has to tweak something, and that's how
That's amazing.
most of his recipes are made. And I would really proudly say that I worked for him.
Wow.
And then and the thing is, any head of the state who visits India, they will have a meal in Dakshin, because they wouldn't have that kind of a meal anywhere in the world. It's like a proper feast.
Yes.
And that's where I learned most of my South
Wow,
Indian food.
wow.
And again, and most of the things what we do is always done back home. Most like dosas are done every day at home. So I've seen dosa since I was from the day I was born.
Yes.
Probably my first food was like
Dosa.
dosa. So that's what
After mother's milk, the first Annaprasana, what is it called?
Idli.
Is that the first?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what they
Kheer, payasam.
Yes.
In North India, it's payasam. I still have a silver bowl from 1946 when I was fed from it in my house.
There you go.
Yeah, it's like long time ago. So dosa or idli would be the first thing the baby gets.
Idli we say, like sometimes idli or rice,
Okay.
And then I've seen dosas, I've eaten dosas all my life.
Yes.
So that's what I'm going to make now.
Yes.
So
in a way, you've done a full circle of Western food, Indian food, Chinese food, Spanish food.
a little bit of everything.
And then you come back to Videsh, abroad, and you're making what mummy made.
Yes, what was
Fascinating. Okay. Do you like eating dosas, all 17 of them?
I mean, I would eat dosa every day. I still do. To be honest, I still do. I eat dosa every day.
Really?
Every day. Yeah.
Okay. Are you single?
Oh, I'm married.
Does your wife make any food?
She cooks dosa for me.
She makes dosa for you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I meant to ask.
I make dosa for her and my little boy.
Oh.
So
I got a kid as well.
Yes, I've got
How old is your child?
He's 7 now.
And what's his name?
Aryan.
Aryan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So Aryan is eating Dravidian food. What a funny word, you know. You know, there's a chap called Swami, what's his name? Who talks about an Aryan Dravidian culture and all that. He says it's all synthetic. Ravan was a Brahmin born in Okhla. So he completely goes against this Aryan, North Indian, South Indian division.
Aryan Dravidian.
Dravidian business, you know. So it's fascinating. Your son is called Aryan. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we do what we cook at home every day. So that's what we wanted to bring it to the people.
So it's a passion turned into a job, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I would
So
say
it's a vocation, really.
yes, it is.
It's not just a kind of a job. I'll make anything you want. It's
I think
what you really like to do.
If I was to do that, probably I would have left this industry. I've started 15 years ago. Probably in a year's time, I would have left this industry
And done something more money making, kind of.
It's more, a lot of people when they finish hotel management, they don't want to do a chefing job, because when you start, it's an underpaid job, long hours, hard work.
Yes. And pleasing everybody. It doesn't matter if you have a headache or what.
Yeah.
It's like an air hostess smiling all the time, or a GP smiling all the time.
So where the front of the house, the front office, team is more like white collar job.
Yes.
They dress nicely.
Yes.
They're meeting people.
Yes, sir. 3 bags full, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just the people quit from the chefing and then they move into the front of the house. and the service.
Smarter clothes.
Yeah.
No grease on your hand.
Yeah, but this is hard when you begin. But when you take it as a passion, after years and years,
And it's fun.
and it's fun and you love it every day. We just want to be in the kitchen every day.
Okay. So when you wake up, the first thought in your head is what? Dosa.
Probably not. Because you eat it every day, you know that you're going to get it. So.
Okay. How much dosas do you eat, Madan?
Oh, to be honest, nowadays with an ailing digestive system.
Ailing digestive system. You're just a kid, man.
When I was young, I could put away at least 10.
Really?
Yeah. Nowadays, I'm happy with 3 or 4. But you see that the beauty of it is that if you have a good accompaniment. Just 2 or 3 is enough to
taste
satisfy.
is so good
that
your satiety center is happier.
And it's extremely light.
Yes.
If it's made well, it's extremely light.
To be honest, we don't want a lot of people thinking, we need to eat 17 dosas to fill up tummy. But again, when we make it at home, it's a bit smaller in size.
It's not commercial size.
It's commercial size, but when we have it in the restaurant, it's bigger.
Bigger. You're paying for it, you might as well get
yes, it's bigger. So because again, as we said, it's not a machine-made one. You make it in hand at home.
Each one will be different shape.
It will be same shape.
Roundish, but not out of a machine that.
No, it's not from a mold where you just make everything.
Yeah. But that's the beauty of handmade things, or our kind of music, where it's creative, or anything creative always has that element of, will it go right or not? And that's where your artistry comes in, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it's like a production line, I can't keep saying McDonald's all the time. It's not right. But everything is at this temperature, then we should go ping, and then something else happens. You do it organically.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, we. Yes, speaking about organic food, which is, as Madan said, we wanted to source most of our ingredients locally, wherever possible. We are getting the seafood from
locally.
Northeast. Yeah. So that promotes the local business, and then there's something called locavore, which you source their ingredient within the 100-mile radius to avoid the carbon footprint.
Yes.
Locally sourcing the fish would help the local.
So what fish would you be using for your dishes?
At the minute, what we haven't mentioned any name of the fish, because we wanted to use the local fish which is available as per the season.
Okay.
So we
So even that is seasonal.
Yeah, we mentioned on the menu as a mean fry. It's a fish fry.
Meaning fish. The Sanskrit word for fish is mean.
And we have mean Colombo, it's a fish curry, and we haven't particularly mentioned whether it's going to be a sea bass or a cod or a salmon or anything, just because we want to see what is available locally.
And that reduces costs and gives better taste.
Yeah, freshly done. It's not frozen that we'll have the thing in the
being stocked from 6 months ago.
Yeah, no. So that's what we want to do. And again, with the vegetables, we're trying to see how much we can. We're buying from the local supplier, definitely.
Yes. What, Team Valley?
I mean, Bistro has got a local supplier.
Okay, okay.
We're buying from a local supplier.
Okay, okay.
We're not using any big companies
Yes.
to give us the vegetables.
Meat?
Meats again. So we're buying from the local supplier.
Everything is locally bought. Yes.
Everything is locally bought, so
Yes.
it helps the local businesses as well. So that's where we are now.
So remind me again, Thursday, what time are you on?
We'll be opening at 5 o'clock on the
So
Thursday.
5 on Thursday till
10 o'clock, which is the closing time.
Okay, but normally the dine at Beacon runs from 8 o'clock till 6 p.m. On other days.
On other days.
8 to 6. But on Thursday it will be
and
5 to
Friday,
10.
5 till 10.
Friday 5 to 10. Saturday.
From 11 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock in the night.
So 11 till 10. And Sunday?
The same, 11 till 10.
So 11 till 10, 11 to 10 and 5 to 10, 5 to 10. So 5 to 10 Thursday, 5 to 10 Friday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m.
On
So
Saturday.
9 hours on Friday, 9 hours on Saturday and Sunday.
Yes, you're right.
9 to 18 and 10, 28 hours. A week is a lot, you know. It's
Yeah.
quite amazing because you're
Yeah.
extending the hours. You're not eating into other people's time.
Well, that's right, and that's why this is a good partnership all round between
Yes.
Dosa Kitchen and Dine at the Beacon,
Yes,
Bistro,
and you can
as
keep
well
your
as
costs down because the kitchen is already there.
yeah.
The rent is already paid. The electricity and gas might cost a little bit more, but everything else is there.
Yeah, so it's a real partnership between the Beacon and the Bistro,
Bistro,
as well as us. We it's a team effort.
Well, I feel Spice is part
Yeah.
of the Beacon and the restaurant and yourselves. So anyway, I can promote. I mean, I always like promoting local people and interesting
Right.
people and creative people.
Oh,
I can't do the boring, It kills me. I can't. I just won't. So anything like that, I was quite surprised when he says dosa. I said, dosa is South Indian food. What do you got to do with it? I said to Amir, I said, yeah, you lovely guys. And then I meet you. I said, I know this guy. And you kept telling me you know me.
Well, this is the funny thing because I said, hi uncle, how are you doing? And you said,
so why is this guy being so friendly with
I said, how are you doing? I'm Madan Ganesan, and we even sort of swapped numbers a few months before that.
But that I just swapped as some nice guy doing food. I didn't remember you're the same kiddo.
Yeah, no,
From
that
age
was the almost the comical moment when when I said, I'm Madan Ganesan, and you said, I said, do you remember me? So when I was 8 years old singing, and of course you said, "Oh, you're that Mother Ganesan." And of course, how many Mother Ganesans are there?
Out
in
of
Newcastle?
politeness, I didn't challenge you the first time.
Yeah.
And was it in Dr. Mishra's house or someone's house in South Shields you sang? I still remember that kitchen and your mother getting hot water.
Yeah, I think it could well be. Yes. We still
But
have
Asian
the,
Artist Network still survives,
Yeah.
Different people are there.
I've heard
but
that. Yeah.
Shashi occasionally goes to it. Sanam goes to it. There's a lady singer, Bhageshwari, doctor, she goes to it. Manda and Jeevan probably still go to it. Kuldeep, I don't think goes to it. I haven't been for ages. But it still survives. It's good that these institutions carry on.
Absolutely.
It's part and parcel of our culture that we share. And even film music is still music. I mean, everyone in the West thinks the only culture in India is Bollywood. Well, it's like saying McDonald's is the only culture of the West.
Yeah, it's an enormous generalization, isn't it? I mean, there's so much more to it than
it's
that.
an ancient culture.
Yeah.
No, I'm most touched by the fact that you're bringing old culture back to here.
Well, thank
old
you.
Traditional. I mean that touches me deeply instead of just some Mumbai stuff.
No, I mean we are so passionate, and we really believe that actually we don't need to tweak or change anything. We're going to just serve exactly what has been served
10,000 years ago.
10,000 years ago. It was brilliant then, and it's brilliant
today,
now.
and it will be brilliant tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because you won't find anything genetically modified.
That's right.
You won't find any pesticide.
No.
None of the modern diseases of food, or fast food like quick or too much meat.
Yeah.
In our food, as we said, no tins, no cans.
Make that your strapline. No tins, no cans. You don't need a can opener to eat our food.
Oh, no, to be honest, no. And then this, no preservatives, no added colors, no added...
You wanted
flavors.
yellow, you take haldi.
Yes.
That's right.
You wanted more red.
Red,
more
take chilies.
powder.
Yes, exactly. It's all natural.
It's all natural. It's all natural.
No, I totally believe in the sattvic and the rajasic and the tamasic foods, If you eat sattvic food, you become less angry. I definitely believe that. I mean, I'd like the Middle East to have one day vegetarian. Because, if it's a hot country and you're eating too much meat, it drives you up the wall.
Well, I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because our awareness of what we eat in the West has become such a big part of how we choose what we eat now. Whereas that kind of philosophy and methodology has been prevailing in other cultures, such as Indian culture, for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, African foods for Africans.
Yeah.
I mean, you got elephants that are purely vegetarian.
Yeah.
They're very strong.
But Doc, for example, this whole thing about sausages and bacon and ham, processed meat.
The recent WHO report.
Yeah. I don't think that would surprise many people at all, really. I mean, it's just it's an empirical
natural
fact now that it's very bad for you.
Yes.
And is potentially worse for you than smoking cigarettes.
But yes, and often the industry doesn't like these kind of reports to come out because it's against the interest of the shareholders.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what drives, whether it's loud music or whether it's some modern fad in food and so on.
And you see, that's what actually colours common sense. So you're making these decisions, but there are other factors that influence what we eat. Whereas if you dial this all back thousands of years ago, the only real factors that influenced what we ate were how it tasted and how it made us feel. And so
over years you realize that certain foods made you healthy.
That's
and
right.
certain did not.
That's right.
I mean,
So
if you go back and say for the same thing, back in India, yes, we said we don't get meat every day. We probably, there are...
maybe Sunday or Saturday.
50% more than...
even those meat eaters are not daily meat eaters.
Yeah, I mean, we eat meat. I eat meat. But back home, yes, we eat meat once a week. That could be a Sunday.
What about Kingston Park?
Kingston Park, slightly different.
How much more?
Probably 3 times a week, maybe.
Okay, but not every meal and every day.
Not every meal. It's 3 times. That 3 times is not meat. That's including 1 day seafood. 1 day.
Okay, so fish.
A fish.
So it's quite a healthy lifestyle. You're largely vegetarian.
Yes, largely vegetarian.
And maybe 3 meals of which 1 is fish anyway.
Anyway, so if you see that way,
then the load on your kidney is very low.
Think about our forefathers. They all had a very healthy life, but they never ate meat. And I mean, we still having a healthy life. We didn't eat that much meat, so there are lots of vegetables which can bring you more
longevity and better health.
Better health. And
the Japanese children who are born in America rather than in Japan are 2 or 3 inches taller, but they got all the Western diseases. So there's a trade-off,
I mean, the one thing that I notice when I go to Japan, in fact, I'm going there on Wednesday for business, is that the amount of food they eat, it's half in terms of portion size.
So because they eat very slowly, isn't it? They make a whole meal of it, as they say. Slowly eating.
They eat very small portions of
very
different things,
food.
of very different things.
Tastes.
Yeah, it's a very different way of eating. So
but even the Chinese, the way you go to a restaurant and they just have rice and then a bit from this lazy Susan or whatever we call that round thing. And I think if you sit in company and eat less food, more tasty food, your calories are better, you're digesting it better because your whole physiological status is relaxing.
Yeah.
And the worst thing to do is have a business breakfast. You're supposed to sit down peacefully and eat and maybe read the paper, maybe the dog at your side. A peaceful scene instead of, now how much should we cheat the customers with? It's this Russian milieu, business lunch. It's not a lunch. It's neither business nor is it a lunch.
No, that's right.
So it should be a peaceful sit-down meal. I mean, I went to a nutritional college in London for 2.5 years. And she said there's one vitamin nobody talks about. It's called vitamin T. So I said, what is vitamin T? She said, time. Then she talked vitamin L, love. They did an experiment in Sweden where they took 15 Swedish women and 15 women from Thailand. For 3 weeks they got their own foods and they tested the blood absorption of iron and it was perfect. Then they swapped the food. So the Swedes were eating spicy food which they couldn't tolerate, and the Thai women were eating bland cardboard which they couldn't tolerate, and the absorption went down. Then they swapped back again in 3 weeks and the absorption reached its own level. Then they did an even more interesting thing. They put the food through a food processor. So the same nutrient, same micronutrient, but the absorption went down because there was no joy in it.
Yeah.
So you're not sitting down, like you're saying, food is seen with the eyes. Another aspect we haven't touched is what is the difference between eating with a fork and knife and eating with your fingers?
Well, this is a very good question, and I think it's funny because actually, we will say that food tastes infinitely better when you eat with your hands,
with a fork and knife that God made.
And just to and so it just tastes better. It feels better because you're touching it.
If it's too hot, you don't just push it in your mouth.
Yeah.
But the problem is you have to wash your hands.
That's
it's
okay.
such a pain. I'm only joking.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. I think it does.
So will you encourage people to eat with their hands here?
We will.
Yeah.
We will, definitely.
Yeah.
So it's a proper Indian kitchen. It's not one of those fake things.
That's right. No. We really want people to, because you when you touch food, it adds to your enjoyment of it. Yeah.
Your tongue is waiting for a taste.
Yeah.
I mean, some people say there's some thought saying that some people say it's not hygienic, but using your own hand to eat your own food.
Whose hand is better? Somebody else's hand.
Perfectly. When you cook the food, you are touching the food.
Yeah.
It's okay. When you come to the hygiene thing, it's when you cook for in a restaurant or for a public. Yes, you use gloves to not for cross contamination.
Because you're dealing with so many, and there's vegetarian, non-veg, and all kinds of things.
Yes. Cross contamination and everything. But if your hands are always clean, what's wrong eating in
But the
your fingers?
truth is, people who are that much bothered about hygiene are the most sick people I know. Modern society has peanut allergy, this allergy, that allergy, because we don't taste enough dirt.
That's true.
If I drop food on the floor, I pick it up and eat it again. I mean, I'm not talking about dal, but why not get some bugs? So when I go to India, for 3-4 days, I'll take only bottled water. I won't just sit in dhaba and start eating because my body is very anglicized. After 3-4 days, and yet I've met people when they go to India, Indian people, they'll boil an apple before they eat it.
Yeah,
right.
I've seen that. I say, "Kya kar rahi? Mat khaiye. It's better not to eat than eat with this fear." Oh my God! Because the body's physiology is designed to cope with germs. There's acid in the stomach. There's all these things are there, and like you mentioned, the process of putting turmeric, haldi.
Yes.
I didn't know it kills salmonella and so on.
For a fact, saying that.
No, but say it.
In the kitchen, with me, back in India, it happens all the time. When you're starting as a chefing, you always tend to cut your finger.
By mistake, yes.
By mistake, it happens, and even now it happens. The first thing what I've learned in the kitchen is
put haldi on it.
Put a haldi on it.
That's very.
I'm not joking.
No,
we do.
This is the most haldi advice I've heard today.
we do, and
it works.
It still works. It still works. And I said to some of my friends in this country.
English friends.
Yes. First they were like,
what? You're putting spices in your finger, you'll die of haldiitis.
I don't want to mention.
It'll be haldi ghati.
I don't want to mention the names, but one of the girls did it, and she went like, "Chef, yeah, it's right. 2 days, it's gone." She had a cut. It's something which is a natural, really natural antibiotic.
With the resurgence of yoga in India through Patanjali, through Swami Ramdev, more and more people are looking at food as a medicine.
Yeah.
Fewer people are taking Western medicine in India. And of course, the drug industry doesn't like that.
And one of the major teachings of yoga with respect to food is chew your food properly and taste it.
Yes.
Like make an effort to taste it.
So the amylase and all that gets digested in your mouth. So all the saliva works for you.
Yeah.
And also, don't they say fill only half your stomach with food and a lot later on put another quarter of fluid. But don't just keep dunking water because you're diluting the acid, which kills the germs.
Right.
Then food shouldn't be too hot or too cold.
That's interesting. Yeah.
This is all part of yoga, and Ayurveda and so on. And like you say, they all overlap each other. Yoga, Ayurveda, Bharatanatyam.
There's a funny thing. This actually reminds me because just in this last an hour and 40 minutes, I think we've both learned a lot from each other, right? But actually, there is an old. There's a thing called a Tirukkural, which is Tirukkural. Tirukkural. Tirukkural is like an ancient. It's an ancient Tamil script that was written by a famous poet and philosopher called Tiruvalluvar. Tiruvalluvar. And actually, this is it's thousands of years old. And actually, one of the lines in that script is "Kattradu kaimannalavu, kalladadu ulagalavu," which is basically what you know can fit in in your hand. What you don't know is the size of the world.
Okay. And so you know so little.
You know so little. But what strikes me as amazing is that this guy, this
gentleman, it's quite okay to call him a guy.
This guy, and society and life and society in general throughout that part of the world was aware of what it knew and what it didn't know. There was an awareness of what it didn't know.
That there are frogs in the well.
Yeah.
How little they knew. They knew that they knew very little.
Yeah.
And that is wisdom, isn't it?
That's wisdom. Because now we know that there's so much out there that we don't know.
But at least he had the concept.
They had the concept.
That the world isn't flat.
Yeah.
And the earth isn't all.
Yeah. Yeah. So all this stuff about Ayurvedic crossover between that and food and yoga and music. There is so much for us to.
The 7 chakras, the 7 notes, the 7 days of the week, 7 colors of the rainbow. Why is it only 7 for all?
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday I was talking to this person to my right and saying, why only 7 notes in all music?
Can I say something?
Of course you can.
Same note, Tiruvalluvar Road, 1,330
Kritis.
The lines what he said. Every single thing has got only 7 words in it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's got only 7. What Madan said, if you just count it, it's got only 7 words.
Each line?
No, the whole sentence is made of
7 words.
And that gives a meaning. All the 1,330 stands like that is made with only 7 words. Every single stand has got only 7 words.
So there's only 7 words in the whole vocabulary?
No, I'm just saying like...
Each sentence is... I didn't get you.
Basically what you're saying is that each stanza within these 1,300 stanzas,
1,330,
each stanza contains only
seven
7
words.
words.
Only
each.
7 words each.
Okay. Each sentence is 7 words long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
and it gives a meaning like what Madan said. It's
so 7 has some resonance.
Something.
Yeah.
I mean, when I go to schools and do Indian classical music teaching children, I said, look, if I sing a song, Mera juta hai Japani mein, but am I sad? You are happy. Sadha pa magare sa. You're sad. How do you know? You don't know my language, but it's music. So children get it very, very quick. That music is so universal that whatever ragam you do, people will get a sense of it in any culture. And that is true art. You don't have to explain art.
Yeah.
If you have to explain it, is elitism.
Well, that's how it started. It started because people started singing depending on how they were feeling.
So from the feelings came the singing.
Came the singing, and now from the singing you get the feeling.
You engender the feelings like rag.
Yeah, like rag. Yeah.
I suppose the same would be for food. I mean, seasonal foods like til. You must have we have in the north called til sankrant. Just in the beginning of winter to eat til.
Yep.
Sesame.
Sesame.
But sesame heats your body.
You're right.
So there are different festivals around, different food times and so on. Not just to celebrate a big rich harvest, but for health reasons.
Yes, you're right.
So I mean, the whole culture has evolved around food, with music, with dance, with harvest, with the seasons, with the different rags in the different seasons and so on. It's a whole package. And as you were saying, food is the easiest one to deliver.
Yeah, that's right.
Isn't it?
It is. And I mean, that's why we are really pumped up about what we're doing here at,
So
Dosa
when's your first day then?
So we open up on the 19th of November.
Okay, we'll have to have you here talking again, so people get to know. And so you're the only chef there, or will you have assistants?
I'll have one more person who will be assisting me. Yeah.
Okay, and they could come in the studio with you sometime before the 19th and talk about it, or
I'll see if I
if you can. I mean, the more the merrier.
Yeah, I'll see.
So I'll fix a date later on where we can have another short session, reminding people and put it on Facebook and
definitely
here and there and everywhere, because and you'll be Facebooking things from there,
from the Dosa kitchen
straight away. So have you got a page now?
We've got a page, yeah.
Already?
Yes, we have.
What's it called?
It's called Dosa Kitchen.
How amazing!
Yeah.
Dosa Kitchen. Okay.
Yeah. So everyone should log on to Facebook and
look for Dosa Kitchen.
Dosa Kitchen UK. Yeah.
Dosa Kitchen UK. Okay. So I'll put this on. I'll mention here. What are you on Facebook personally?
I'm Madan Ganesan.
Mathanganesan.
That's right.
Two
yes.
separate words.
That's right. Yeah.
And
I'm Sudarshan.
only.
Sudarshan Prabhu.
Okay, you cut.
Yeah, I've got. Yeah.
I used to be Anand Vardhan Sinha. So my father said we don't write Sinha because it denotes caste. So come to England with Anand Vardhan. What's your surname? No, I don't write a surname. Okay, we'll call you Anand, aka Anand Vardhan, also known as. So it got longer and longer, and now I'm just Doc. Okay. Okay, so it's been fab having you over. I really enjoyed that, and I've learned so much from you. And all I await is some food from you each time you come in, pop in.
Certainly.
Even a vada or something, just so it's a talking point. It doesn't have. Don't bring any fluids to make it difficult.
No, definitely.
Just a nominal thing. So just say how did you make it, what did you
Definitely.
do, and so on. And we can have a show with you, your wife, and your kid one day.
Definitely.
You know, and it all adds to the package.
Yes.
Are you still single?
No, absolutely not. I've a wife and two lovely kids.
Where are the two lovely kids and wife in Ireland?
Yeah, well, they're here. They're in Newcastle at the moment because it's a midterm break.
Okay,
but I have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old, and
well, the 2-year-old won't say much, but the 6-year and will create a lot of noise. But they are welcome.
yeah, well, that's very
Let's have
extremely
a family
kind.
get together. Let's have all your wives and kids and. Well, all your wives, I mean, each one has only one. Okay. Yeah, and let's have a family show.
That's extremely kind of you, Doc, and we really appreciate.
No, but you bring the culture
yeah.
back in. I enjoy that,
Yeah.
There's no South Indian music show here.
Well, I think next time I come on, maybe I can kind of
You're getting brave.
demonstrate a few.
You're getting braver
routes.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Do a quick one. Come on. Mohanam.
Mohanam. So.
Shall I cut the violin out? This is not going to help.
No.
No, come on. Put on something. Mohanam is Bhupali for us. Sarigapa Dhasa.
Sarigapa Dhasa Mohanam.
Wow.
Mohanam.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow, that was beautiful. I'm thinking of all the Hindi film songs, and let's do a show with the two, completely different from what we're doing now. We take a rag which is common, like Malkons is called Hindolam.
Yes. Yeah.
Sagama Dhani Sa.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And you bring your own voice, obviously, and some South Indian kritis, and I'll do some Hindi film songs.
Okay.
It's very easy. 2 hours will just pass like that.
No, I would love to do that.
There you
Sure.
go. So now you've lost your English shyness, and you're back into your 8-year-old Matan Ganeshan. Thank you very much. It's been absolutely fabulous having you over.
Thank you for having us.
And we'll have this on YouTube very soon. And the page is Dosa Kitchen UK.
That is indeed correct, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Doc. Miles away, the food is a consequence of what is available in your.
So it's a bit like
little
culture, that it's locally and geographically close.
Yeah.
And I mean, you eat out of plantain, banana leaves. Like I was in Bangalore for about 6 weeks once.
Yes.
And there were so many plantain leaves. The beauty is you eat it and it's disposed of.
That's
and
right.
it's so biodegradable. I mean, all these English words have to be adapted. But
That's
they've been
right.
doing it for thousands of years.
That's the beauty, yeah.
I mean, also in trains we used to have the mud, earthen chukkar, what do you call them?
Mudkas.
Mudkas, you call them?
Yep.
They are more biodegradable than the plastics which the cows are eating and getting their guts filled up.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of beauty in the old way instead of stamping the new techniques on.
Yeah.
Okay, so South Indian food is largely vegetarian.
Indeed.
Because South India is more traditionally Hindu than the North, which has been invaded so many times that we've forgotten who we are. Whereas the South, in fact, the music, Lal Gudi, Jayaraman, is so typically Carnatic.
It is.
Now when I hear this, it just takes me to Bangalore in my case. Okay, how did you two meet? Because you come from different angles. You come from the hoteliering department, sort of service industry. You come from microchips and also money. And how do you two know each other?
Well, we just met through the local community. So in
the temple or something?
Yeah, and we have common friends, and we met that way.
So by chatting with each other, you found deep interest in each other's.
Yes. And we both of us just so happen to be from our families originate from the same part of Tamil Nadu.
Okay, which is the cultural center for the South.
Yeah,
you say that with such pride.
Well,
I can see that in your eyes.
Very proud of that.
Bharatanatyam and all that comes from Tamil Nadu.
Bharatanatyam, Carnatic music.
Because in the North, anyone who doesn't understand the South, he says Madrasi hai. Every South Indian is a Madrasi, whether you're from whether you're a Mallu or Andhraite. You're a Madrasi.
But the funny thing is, Doc, is that each individual state within India, and this is not just confined to South India, has its own culture, has its own language.
It's such a big country, yeah.
So
and distinctive food.
Yeah, in distinctive food.
In fact, each state has its own distinctive god as well. Because Ganesh is so popular in Maharashtra. In Bihar, you do Chhat. In Bengal, you do Durga, Kali Puja. Punjabis have Durga. Same religion, but different angles. It is such a big country, really.
It's a big country. So when we talk about South India, South India doesn't really mean it's like saying South Europe.
South.
Sick of the same old radio sound? Then you need vibrant radio. Spice up your life. Spice FM 98.8 FM.
Good afternoon, listeners. We've got two fantastic guests for you today who will introduce themselves. This is a young man who I met about, 15 years ago?
Oh, it's probably longer than that.
Longer than that?
Yeah.
How old are you? 16 or what?
I'm actually 38.
38. Yes. But when I first met you, you were a teenager.
I think I was about 10.
10.
When we first
And
met.
You came to the Asian Artists Network.
That's right. Yeah.
And you used to sing Carnatic classical music.
Yes.
And your mum, who's still around, I believe, used to give you warm water with Zira in it to make your voice feel good.
That is indeed
God, I must
right.
be getting on in life. So we have Matan Ganeshan, and who have you brought in?
Yes, my business partner and dear friend, actually, Sudarshan, is here with me today.
What's your full name, Sudarshan?
My name is Sudarshan Murugavel.
Sudarshan Murugavan.
Yeah, Murugavel.
Murugavan is what? Krishna Bhagavan in the south.
It's Murugavel is the
Murugu.
Murugavel. It's the Sharavan. In the North India.
Shravan. Okay. Yeah. Shravan Kumar.
Sharavan, yeah.
The fellow who carry his parents on his shoulder. I think so the story goes.
Like Kartikeya.
Kartikeya.
Yeah.
I see. Yes.
Yeah.
Who's the older brother of Ganesh?
Younger brother of Ganesh.
Younger brother of Ganesh, the handsome one, the good singer one.
Handsome guy,
he sings
rides on a peacock.
Yeah. And Ganesh was complaining to Parvati, why do I look ugly and nobody sings? She said, everybody will copy you in their bathrooms. There'll be lots of bathroom singers. There'll be very few Kartikeyas. Okay, so tell us about yourself. I mean, you used to be a nice little voice singing. What are you doing here?
Well, I guess singing has always been a big part of my life.
Indeed.
But after at university, I did microelectronics and software engineering. And then I went to UCL in London and did a business degree with telecoms.
So how many changes have you made from singing to computers?
Well, singing was is kind of a side activity really in many ways. But career-wise, I've been in the tech.
East Asia.
Yeah.
Do you mean Chinese? Do you mean Indian? Do you mean Pakistani? Do you mean Tibetan?
That's right. Yeah. So
as long as you're not white, it's okay. Same thing. We have a lady laughing in the background. We'll soon have her in the show as well.
Yeah, I just think it's something that we often refer to as North Indians. You talk about North Indians.
Or Punjabis, they are Punjabis.
Yeah, it could be.
The Bengalis, anything non-Bengali, he's a Punjabi. And what about them? Oh, Dosa, he's Dosa. So India is so huge, but I believe now with Facebook and television, I used to think the Manipuris are Chinese, because they are more Mongolian looking. Until I met a chap in my own class, Chong Tham. He was my classmate. He could speak Hindi as well. He played the bongo very well.
Yeah.
I said, "Are you Chinese?" He said, "No, I'm from Manipur. My sister learned Manipur dancing." Then I realized that those Indians look very Mongoloid.
Well, I have to say, Doc, that if the way these boundaries and everything is all today, how it's all structured today, is not representative of the history of this region thousands of years ago. So if look at the Chola dynasty, which is
how long ago was the Chola dynasty around?
Well, the Chola dynasty was around for many hundreds of years. So we're looking at, they were around from the sort of Roman times for hundreds of years after that.
So and it extended 2.5, 3,000 years?
Not so much, but maybe 1,000 years.
Okay.
So it extended all the way up to Calcutta, Bangladesh, and all the way down to Malaysia, Thailand, and so on. So even now, you can see the influence of that empire in these areas.
The cultural influence is there.
Yeah.
Though the history books written after independence, thank you Nehru ji, was all about Mughals. Yeah. Every Mughal king gets a chapter, but the Hindu kings get a tiny microscopic entry into the book. It's fact,
Yeah, and it's actually fascinating reading because they governed, they had order, they had structure, they encouraged the arts, they encouraged the food and promoting the culture from within. And perhaps it was an enormous empire, and actually that may be similar to other empires within India.
Like Ashoka's empire was in Magad, that is Bihar, UP,
that's right.
Orissa. So we don't talk enough about these olden times. We just talk about from Alexander, who I do not call great. I don't see what's great about him.
But it gives you an idea of why people look the way they look, because thousands of years ago there was mass migration amongst these different territories. So that's maybe something.
So basically, we are saying that culture grows from the ground. Religion is from above.
Yes. Like the macronutrients.
So it's easier to digest. It's like a superfood.
Yeah.
It is fermented, but it's naturally fermented. It is nothing like artificial yeast or anything goes
no.
fermentation process. Which we when we dig a bit deeper on the history of dosa, which the dosa has been in
how long?
Well, we think it's been around for about 10,000 years.
Oh my God, older than Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Yorkshire pudding is the equivalent of it here.
That's right.
But that's only 100 years or something, possibly.
Yeah, I mean it's an ancient food, and there is actually references to dosa in some of the Tamil Sangam literature.
Which are how old?
Which is 2,000 years old.
Wow.
But we know that grain storage and these sorts of agricultural methods have been prevalent in India since 5000 BC.
Well, if you look at the Indus Valley culture, 9,000 years ago in a place called Brahminabad, now in Pakistan. Sadly, our culture started in Pakistan. The way they divided us, I mean, my roots are, your roots are all in the Indus Valley, the river Saraswati. And those books are 6,000 years old. And there's proof, but we Indians don't shout about it. Anything good in India, let's keep quiet about it, sort of. So the Indus Valley culture goes back, and Brahminabad is where cattle were first in that part of the world domesticated. So hunter-gatherers became farmers, exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. So when you saw about 10,000 years ago, I'm talking about 9,000 years ago. And it all fits in.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? The funny thing is that the evolution of food is actually a very interesting thing to look at, because it's a function of innovation as well as trial and error in many cases.
Yes.
So these dishes have been evolved over thousands of years
to see what suits the palate.
Yeah.
The culture.
And the body.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're going to eat chicken tikka masala in England all the time, is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's local foods that you should fit in with, because this culture has grown from this culture. And I personally think all this transportation of food from here to there is okay for a bit, but really you should eat local grown food. I believe that. I really believe that.
Yeah. I mean, we believe in that passionately too. So, a lot of the ingredients that we are going to be using for our dishes in Dosa kitchen at the Beacon will be locally sourced. You know, the fish and the prawns and so on will be locally sourced.
Because less upsetting the ozone layer.
Well, yeah, I mean, we believe that, and actually, you look at Indian food in general; it's all locally sourced. You know, everything it doesn't come from thousands of technology business. And I've started a few companies.
Having gone to the business.
Yes, I started a semiconductor microchip company in Colorado, and
that all excites me, you know.
Yeah. Oh, God, I'm glad to hear that.
Because I used to make radios out of OC71 transistors, Philips. PNP, NPN and all that stuff. You take me back to my childhood, you know. It's a long way away. Okay, so now you're in business and you're based where?
That's right. So now I work for an investment fund in Dublin called Intellectual Ventures.
Intellectual Ventures, right?
Yeah, and we basically invest in intellectual property. So we acquire patents and IP rights from individual inventors as well as very large companies.
So the whole range?
The whole range. And it's a US-based fund, but based in Dublin, the latest fund. And so I'm head of the acquisitions team there.
What a difference, you know, from Carnatic singing to computers to business to venture funding to something different you brought to me. I mean, you haven't brought all this stuff to the Beacon, dine at Beacon, have you?
Well, no. I mean, so it's always been a passion of mine, and actually, when I met Sudarshan some years ago, you know, we collectively share a passion for South Indian, traditional South Indian food, and namely the concept of tiffin. Which is the idea
of Anglo-Indian name for food that you take lunch into a box.
Yes,
like dabba wala kind of thing.
Kind of, but you know, we're talking about tiffin is kind of an umbrella term for dosa, vada, idli,
the
sambar.
Transportables.
Yeah, kind of quick, light eats that can also double up as a main meal. That kind of thing.
If you eat enough, it's a full meal.
Yes, yeah.
We don't have an equivalent in the north. You can't eat 10 samosas and call it a meal.
Well, no. You're right. And actually, you know, Sudarshan and I were having a little chat the other day, comparing stories about how many dosas we were able to eat when we were teenagers.
Right, how many?
I think Sudarshan could devour 17.
Wow.
17 in one sitting.
17?
Yeah, but when we were young, when we were like playing in the fields back home, you know, you just swim.
You sweat it out.
Yeah, sweat it out.
Yes.
And those are so light.
Yes.
Which is very thin rice, you know.
So dosa is 2 parts rice and 1 part urad dal.
Yeah, it's
fermented overnight.
It's grounded. It's fermented overnight.
What's the advantage of the fermenting process?
It's basically it breaks down the